Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Win the Day Planner Content Library Series. Today, I am super excited to welcome Tony Castillo. Tony is the owner and founder of Nutrition for Performance in South Florida. But Tony's story is pretty cool. He spent a lot of time working with and at the University of Florida as a dietitian, sports dietitian, and then he spent several years working in the MLB with all types of pro baseball players at the Blue Jays and other places in the Dominican Republic. We're super excited to have Tony on. Tony, talk to me first off, welcome. Talk to me about the importance of hydration. One of the areas of our planner is tracking hydration for student athletes. Talk to me a little bit about why it's important for student athletes to maintain good levels of hydration.
Dan, thanks for having me on. And I always like to say hydrate or dihydrate. It's one of my main mottos. I even have a YouTube series of a guy named Captain Hydrate where I dress up as a superhero to talk about hydration. So just why is hydration important? Do you want to perform better than 90% of the people you're playing with? Because most of us are chronically dehydrated. So if you're telling me you could perform 10% better than everyone on the field, wouldn't you want to do it? Then if I told you not only are you performing better than 10% than everyone else on the field, but you have more focus, you have more power in your legs. I don't care what sport you're doing, you're using legs. Whether you're swimming, biking, baseball, and I know people are like, well, I'm using baseball, I'm just throwing a baseball. No, you're using that foundation of your legs. If you could have 70% more power in your legs, wouldn't you want to know how to do it? Right? These are simple things that hydration can actually do for you. It's not what it does for me, it's what it does for you just by simply drinking enough water. Now, one of the easiest ways to figure out if you're drinking enough water or not is called the what method. And just the visualization of if you're having enough water or not. I want you to imagine, Dan, if I had a piece of beef jerky and a piece of fresh steak in my hand, right? If I had a piece of fresh steak, you can move it around. It's easy to bend and do all those things. If I had a piece of beef jerky and I bend it, it's going to rip. Well, that beef jerky is what your muscles look like when you don't have enough water. So an athlete can get simply injured by not drinking enough water and have beef jerky looking muscles, right? Because it's dehydrated beef, beef that has no water. So if you want to make sure your muscles are able to move at their best, you need to make sure you stay hydrated. Because if you don't have that hydration, one, you're going to have poor concentration. You're going to be just like the other people on the field. You're not going to set yourself apart. You're not going to have that power in your legs. And those beef jerky muscles, you're pretty much priming yourself to be injured so that you don't play. And whether you're trying to get into a higher school or you just want to play for fun, you want to make sure you play for a long time and not be injured. So you got to be hydrated. So go into that what method. W-U-T. W is weight. So how much water should anyone be drinking at any point in time, especially athletes? Should be at least half your body weight in ounces. So simple number, if you're someone who weighs 150 pounds, you should be having about 75 ounces of water. Now, that weight that I'm stating is that you need to weigh yourself before and after any training session or physical activity. So if you're someone who likes to go on long runs, you're on the cross country team, if you're someone who's a baseball player, if you're in weightlifting, if you're a football player, you should be weighing yourself before and after at least 3 practices or training sessions. Why? The reason is for every pound you lose, you should be adding another 24 ounces of water. Now, I've had extremes of this where I've had people who are cross country athletes and they've lost 5 pounds. So that means they needed to add another 24 ounces of water to their day. I've had football linemen who've lost 20 pounds in a day. And what happens is there's no way I'm going to get them to drink 480 ounces of water. However, we look at that next practice, how we can include more electrolyte-rich beverages, which I'm sure you've heard of many, but that's a whole different topic. So that's weight. So for every pound you lose, it's 24 ounces of water. And you need to have at least half your body weight of ounces every day. The second thing is your urine. Urine, your color of your pee. So you want it to look light like lemonade. So I have some urine with me. So when anyone's watching, this is the clear urine. Here we have some lemonade-like urine. And here we have our what I like to call you are in emergency zone. If you have apple juice looking urine, that means you're dehydrated. You need to add water into it. Now, most people are like, well, Tony, if it looks clear, it means I should be hydrated, right? Unfortunately, no. If you have clear urine, that means you don't have enough electrolytes. So you don't have anything of the sodium, potassium, magnesium, and chloride that helps absorb in your body. Now, I see a lot of student athletes reaching for drinks such as Prime or Body Armor, but both those drinks, because they're high in potassium, actually dehydrate you. So please stay away from those. If you want to look for a hydrating beverage that is more known, would be Gatorade or Powerade, whatever is at your facilities. I have no preference because both of those are going to be way better for you than the Prime or Body Armor, at least at this moment, until they change the formulation. So urine, light like lemonade. Anything else, if it's too clear, you need to add electrolytes. If it's too dark, you need to drink more water. Finally, thirst. When we are thirsty, it is the most unreliable signal because it's in the same location as our brain, so we might be hungry. And when we're thirsty, we're actually 2 to 3% dehydrated. and our body's about 60% water. So that means you've dropped down to a 57. Now, what does that mean to you? You are actually going to be 10% less effective in any of the mental decisions you're making. So if you are a pitcher, if you're trying to throw a ball, you're not going to be able to see the glove as clearly, which I don't know about you, Dan, but being a pitcher, you want to make sure you see that glove pretty well. If you're someone who's running, just seeing that next pace, where are you going? Where are you turning? Even if you're just running straight, you want to make sure you're running directly straight, right? No matter what sport you're playing, concentration and brain health is super important. So that thirst is that third method to make sure you're staying hydrated. So weight, urine, and thirst. The what method is how you can gauge your hydration.
I love it, Tony. Thank you so much. Athletes out there, take these words of wisdom and put them to practice. The power of hydration is crucial for student athletes today. Be sure to check out Tony Castillo on social media. And if you have any questions, reach out to us. We can put you in contact with Tony. Tony, thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you again soon.
Dan, thanks for having me.